Now let's talk about when to coach because timing can make the exact same feedback either land perfectly or fall completely flat. So think of coaching like a tool and different tools for different moments and situations and circumstances. You've got three windows here. You've got live coaching during the call, you've got post coaching right after, and then there's delayed coaching, which is later, right? None of these is best all the time, right? And the best leaders, they're going to choose the timing based on the rep that they're working with and the moment, the situation, the circumstance, right? So I'm going to give you guys a simple way to pick the right window. This way you can coach more effectively without hijacking calls from your reps or waiting too long to even do the coaching. All right, so live coaching. So this is that in the moment guidance, right? And this is actually really effective for your brand new reps, right? Or those more kind of high risk moments where like a small correction could prevent a train wreck, could prevent them from losing a potential sale, right? Or a customer. So think of your live coaching as like the training wheels, right? And I say that because like new reps, they don't have patterns or bad habits yet, right? So that real time guidance that can actually shape those good habits immediately and they're going to be more sticky, right? But live coaching, it does have a rule, right? And with that, you want to keep it light, right? Your goal, like Brad said, you don't want to run the call for them, right? Your role is to like just nudge them back on track if they start drifting. This way they can learn while they're doing. Now, the second window, that's going to be your post call coaching right after the call, right? This is actually the sweet spot for most reps because the experience is still fresh. The reps, they can remember what they were thinking, what they heard on the call, how they felt, and you can coach in context, right? So the goal here is really just to capture the learning while it's at the top of their mind, not a week later in your one-to-one or into a call calibration on a Friday afternoon. Timing wise, think like 2 to 10 minutes after the call, because that's going to give them long enough to take a breath and process the call, especially if it didn't go the way that they wanted it to. Short enough that they still remember the key moments of the conversation. And this is also where, going back to something we mentioned earlier, asking versus telling is really going to shine. It's going to be really effective because you can guide their reflection while their memory is still accurate, right? And so let me ask you guys another question, right? Do you tend to coach immediately after a call? Or again, I know you guys mentioned, I see it in the chat, it's all over the place. We've got a little now, a little later, a little in between. But I'll say this, if you want a super simple post-call structure, use these three questions here. So you guys are going to want to screenshot this, okay? First question is, what went well? Question number two is, what would you change? And then the third question is, what will you do next time? This is going back to something Brad mentioned earlier. This is that active recall in action because you're making the rep retrieve the learning, and then you're also having them commit to a change in that conversation. And you'll actually notice something. You'll notice this keeps you out of lecture mode, right? And a coach catastrophe. And if you do nothing else, right, end with that last question there. What are you going to do next time? What are you going to do on the next call? And again, this conversation, this could be a 5 minute chat and still be super effective. Again, as long as the reps doing the thinking and doing the talking and not you. And that actually does lead to the third window, which is the delayed one-to-one coaching. And this is going to be best for your tenured reps because they need more refinement. They need more strategy, right? More than anything, right? And this is going to be also really good for situations where the topic is complex, like discovery questions they should be asking or objection handling or price negotiations, because that delayed coaching environment, that's going to give you space to practice. So you can role play, you can rewrite talk tracks, you can run redos until they get it right. And that's obviously really hard to do when you're in that live or in that post call environment. So use those one-to-one coachings as a place where you can help build mastery, not just fix mistakes and put band-aids on things. And then lastly, here's a cheat sheet and a recap of the three things. This way you guys can again screenshot this and implement if you're not already. So again, just to recap, with your new reps, coaching is going to be most effective live and post call because they need that immediate feedback and they need fast repetition so that it gets real sticky. Your tenured reps, they're going to do best with your post call and your delayed one-to-one training. And again, if it's a big pattern like the same mistake that shows up on multiple calls, that's always or almost always going to be like a delayed one-to-one type of a topic, because you can, again, you can review the call, you can rewind, you can play back, you can practice and role play.